And the cabs are 3 weeks like I had much fun though. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
What you do where you don't eat any of it, just for the you eat it. You like it? Many of us. Or from my season. Oh, look at this. Can you see the difference in male female? We got all sorts of female. Most you guys are the only one who have. This time of year, we got the. Yes, and there's still.
Okay. You got your keys?
Okay. Just get it on the lawn. Yes. Get the clean, but they're almost. Wow.
Oh, really?
Deer scrap out and raw legal. Yeah, they're huge. Really? And the cows and some raw legal. You how much bigger they are.
Yeah, I'm a dog. She's wearing orange now.
It is 6 o'clock. I'll call the order. Grayson County Board of Supervisors. Monday, an application call.
Father, thank you for the day that's been given. Thank you for the display of honor for our veterans that we were just able to participate in. Most of all, thank you for the freedom we enjoy here in the United States of America. We pray that you'll be with our board of supervisors in this meeting tonight. Thank you for all the citizens that have come. And just be with us, for it's in your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is everybody coming out tonight? Nice. Well, I'll do this swarm, but anyway.
Everybody had a chance to look over the agenda and the consent agenda. I'll look for motion to approve.
So moved.
All about that. Move right along. Public hearing, we have none. Reports, presentation, Mr. Keith Andrews, Clean River Follow.
Well, this goes back to some history, but also just some thank yous. Reason that we're doing this follow-up meeting is Mike Hash participated in some of the events this summer and also in the follow-up meeting that we had. And we felt like it would be a good opportunity to update the board on the commitment that you made concerning Clean River. So that's pleasing. So thanks, Mike, for doing that. Second, kind of a thank you to John, because about this time last year, started talking to John something about the need to have something like the Clean River event that lasted a month because of potential bad weather and such. And sure enough, we got that done. So thanks, John. And also moving forward, it's saying that, hey, we need to make this ongoing because one time just doesn't do it. So I'd like to give you some feedback on what transpired. And also, particularly with Tom being here. Remember when we were having the discussions, can I take this off just for the time being?
Sir.
Yeah. Remember you stating that it was somewhat of a concern that, you know, at times we pass proclamations and such, but you just don't see much results out of what happens with them. And I think what we can say now, after what we achieved this summer, Tom, we got something done. So
Yes, you did.
thank you for all of you supporting that. And hopefully have that same support going forward. Let John pass these out, but here. Pass them around. These are okay. What we did is pull together the groups that had participated and put this thing together, and we had a formal debrief in September. And what you're going to hear now is basically that debrief. And we're not going to go through all 4 pages. We're just going to get on the highlights because then you can take a look at them. But what we did is we took the major planks of your proclamation saying, what did we do well? What could we improve on? And how might we do better going forward? So it gives you kind of a basis of encapsulating what you did and then take a look at what can we do going forward. So if you take a look at it, you know, we basically said we're going to strive to protect the new river in our county and build the next generation of stewards. And flip into that in a few minutes, but basically we think we did do some things that help protect the new and also started advancing this aspect of who's going to do it going forward. We wanted to work with other organizations to provide developmental programs and such. And when we got that done, we actually had 2 programs. We had Elizabeth Underwood with the New River Conservancy. She was brand new on the position. Came to us, talked to us about what they were doing and hopefully how they could become involved. And then we also had Martha Chapman, who's with their Virginia Environmental Agency. And she gave a presentation concerning water quality and the history and kind of the dialogue of what our quality is and has improved over from the 70s to where we are now, but still room for more improvement in that particular area. So we did that. We do think that we can do better as far as involving other agencies and trying to get some more hands-on, actually, such things as stream erosion and such as that, where people can actually learn what they can do on their own properties and such. So we have to do that. Develop a communication involvement campaign to let citizens and visitors know. And I think between what our tourism group did, as well as what some of the individual groups did, we got the word out. And we think that we can even do better going forward on that as far as letting citizens and such know. Encourage property owners with river frontage on how they could actually do some cleanup of their own. And that's one that I have to say, we know some of them did because we saw deposits of materials, particularly at the Wildlife Conservation Club. We knew that we were getting some things brought in. So we know some landowners. But we did try to communicate with a large group of landowners by sending out a mailing and such. And it had mixed results. And I'll tell you, everything that we're talking about tonight, it was compressed from a standpoint of when the proclamation was made to the time period that we pulled groups together to the time period that we are actually doing things. So very compressed. And we know going forward, we'll have more time to do a better job of that. Would encourage as far as something that we need to look at, because it came up in the debrief, as far as using the fall tax, property tax mailing addresses would be probably a preferable method. And even if you could use mail inserts in those going forward, you can get the information out of it. I don't know the correlation between the same people getting the property taxes, personal property taxes in the spring and then the property taxes in the fall. Because if we could correlate those and see, we may actually be able to do some mailing in the spring to property owners, let them know how they can get involved. Promotional logistical support for the groups in the river. And here's I think we did a good job on this. We took out 231 tires out of the river in the month of August. And Mike, I think he had 200 himself, but maybe not. But what we had really, and this is something feedback from the Newer Conservancy, because they plugged us as far as in their communication, saying that we were one of the highlights of their year from a standpoint of they participated in our Clean River Month. Now, they conducted 6 cleanups, and in their 6 cleanups throughout the New River Basin, they collected 165 tires. Now, 29 of those came from Grayson County. But again, we had 6 cleanups and we took out 231 tires. So I think that we achieved a fair amount there. We also have a large number of other items, trash, whatever. You probably heard about the rifle and the shotgun that was found in the river. You know, we found a lot of things. Porta Johns, you name it, we found it. Now, we know that we have a lot more to go because we probably had cleanups in multiple sections of the river. But as far as covering all 46 miles of the river that Grayson County knows, we know there's more out there. And I guess the most satisfying thing from this is all the groups that did cleanups, they want to do it again. And they have actually already come back and said, I think we need to expand from the standpoint of getting other groups, but also we know some more people want to participate in our cleanup. So that's pretty good feedback that people are getting actively involved. Promotional materials and such for kayakers, tubers and such. And again, the involvement of the canoe liveries, some of the campgrounds and such, as well as retail stores that sell kayaking. We got them all in the red bags that the county came up with. And you could tell that people were passing those out, they were utilizing them because you could see them at each of the deposit areas that we set up at all of the DWR sites. So we know that was a good involvement. But also, it was just some personal stuff there. I remember one day that we were getting ready to take stuff out of the river and there's some kayakers getting ready to get in. Said, hey, we're doing river cleanup. You want to take a bag or something? Yeah, everybody just grabbed hold of the bag. And we found them deposited at the next DWR site where they took out. So we know people were doing it and using it. So we think that we did a lot of things that were well. Now, one piece of feedback that we did get that I think is important to note is what we did was very unique. And this was feedback from the Newer Conservancy who does this, again, 3 states. And this is one of the first efforts they saw where you had county government, you had civic groups, you had individual citizens, you had public agencies, and you had, public retailers and such all getting involved in the same effort. And that's a hats off to I think all the groups that are involved. And so, can't give them enough credit from the standpoint, whether it be Grayson Land Care, Preserve Grayson, Mineral River Wildlife Conservation Club, DWR, they really did a lot of work for us too. So we had a lot of effort from all the various agencies, including the counties. Public Works, again, tourism, everybody kicking in to make this thing successful. Again, one of the things that we came up with also is understanding that we got to get the next generation involved. And we didn't really see that many youth involved in the activities. Now, kind of I guess, comments that I heard though, that again, Jason Harris and I were putting up some of the signage for a takeout area. And here comes a couple with their kids, all four have kayaks, and said, y'all want to be interested in doing this from a standpoint of cleaning up? And they said, sure. Monday, Jason gets a call saying, our kids had a blast. It was like a treasure hunt because they filled up 2 bags with stuff, debris. That's how you build stewardship, is getting it active, getting people involved. And even some of your own individual members of the county. I mean, Paul, I think, did a great job because he helped with 2 cleanups, one being the club's cleanup, the other one, he helped with the Grayson Land Care. We made sure, and again, it goes back to the logistical support, we made sure that every group we put in the river had sort of a river guide, safety person involved with it. Everybody had life preservers, we required that. So again, it was somebody doing it. But then you had Evan Heek. Oh my gosh, have you seen his stair step of kids? Okay. They came out on our cleanup and couldn't go with some of the larger groups that we had because we're going to do too big of a distance. They put in at the Conservation Club, went up to Elk Creek, came back down to DWR site. Here's a family, mother, father, and 3 kids. They got 21 tires out of the river. That's phenomenal. But those kids were really kind of spooked that day because building on Mike's suggestion, we made sure all the youth that were involved got certificates that they participated in this. So here we gave out, bandanas, and so they had their bandanas on, they got their certificates. Again, you're building interest. But we did pull together, and we are pulling together in December. The 3 schools that are impacted by our Grayson County, so we have Grayson County schools, we have Gay-like schools, and we also have Oak Hill Academy coming to a meeting where we can discuss stewardship. What is being done in the schools? What can we do? We also have, again, DWR, we have Newer Conservancy, we're going to have Blue Ridge Discovery Center. So groups that can actually address and help with stewardship. So this thing is going on. So we're going to continue working on that part, but then we'll start up again probably February, March, getting ready to go. Now, some of the ideas, and you'll see them on your sheets there, as far as going forward. So don't be surprised to see in the 4th of July parade, a group of 3 or 4 boats with signage on there, get involved in the New River cleanup. So we know we're going to have something like that taking place. So we're going to be working on this. And again, I thank you, because it was really satisfying to see what transpired this summer. And again, hopefully you continue on with your support of it and let me know how I can be of help. Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure, yes, sir.
Keith, from what you just talked about, and maybe you covered in here, but other than the proclamation that we've done, and you've got Public Works just doing a haul off, are there other things that the county could assist in going forward that we need to think about? Because we're going to enter in the budget cycle here pretty soon. Are there things that we need to know about maybe now that we?
Well, I think such things, I mean, we're going to have to refurbish some supplies. We gave out gloves and everything else and that type of thing, safety vest. I mean, that type of consumable we'll have to refurbish. I think what I would encourage is take a look at the other areas in the county government that have some impact on the river. I think we have an erosion control department, and I think they could have a clear, involvement in what we're trying to do. But other than some of the things and doing them better, I don't see a heck of a lot more investment from the county. Appreciate what you did.
I guess you're good enough.
All right, thank you.
Well done.
Supervisor Finn, there's a quarter of an FTE that's dedicated to working on this project. In this past year, we had that. And we would hope to continue to do that,
Right,
at least.
right.
I went over 5 minutes, didn't I?
It was good.
But it was a light agenda.
You're fine. Carl, you ready? Our man up there. Calm down.
I'm just trying to make sure everything's all in a row. First of all, thank you for letting me have this opportunity to go over our broadband project. For those that don't know me, out in cyberspace, my name is Carl Caudell. I'm the county project manager for the broadband project. Joining me today is Gigabeam CEO Michael Clemens and Amanda Cox with Appalachian Power. Amanda, Michael, are you on?
I'm on, but I don't have capability of video because I'm struggling with my bandwidth. So I'm going to have to move out to Grayson County so that I can have some high-speed internet. But hi, everybody.
Hey, man.
Amanda.
And I'm here too. Hello, everyone.
And Mike,
Hey, Mike.
What we hope to accomplish today is to briefly cover the current status of the project. Then we will go into the overall project, followed by examining the components of fiber to the home and fixed wireless. We'll then wrap up with how future expansions will work and touch upon some frequently asked questions. But first of all, I have to give thanks to everyone that has been involved with this project from its conception. John Fant, who has made this project one of his top priorities for the county, has also kept me on my toes this whole time. So a big thank you to John. Bill Shepley, who has worked diligently to bring this project together, Sandy Terry with Rural Broadband Consulting, who helped us get started with the direction we needed to go. The Grayson County Board of Supervisors for expressing the need for broadband in Grayson County. The Broadband Committee who meet monthly and follow the project along. Amanda Cox with AEP APCO for her part and AEP APCO for their hard work in the critical infrastructure of this project. Delegate Israel O'Quinn, who was vital in getting the project off the ground. Michael Clemens with his team at Gigabeam, who have been working hard with planning and getting the project started. Governor Ralph Northam, who signed the project into law that gave us the green light to start. The Virginia Telecommunications Initiative, as well as the Virginia Tobacco's Region Revitalization Commission for the grant funding opportunities that have made this project possible. Countless others have been a part of this process. And finally, the citizens of Grayson County who have made their voices heard for the need of broadband project in the county. Getting ahead of myself. So to start things off, we'll start with the current status of the project. With the conception from this project, the conception of the project actually began in 2018. Things started to really take off when AEP filed with the SCC in September of 2019. The foundations of this project. The SCC process took some time, but was finally approved by May of 2020. This is when the design and planning began for the project, and the construction officially started in December of 2020. Now, almost a full year later, we have much of the fiber infrastructure in place and are now at the threshold of getting the first customers connected. AEP's fiber build-out will provide around 237.5 miles of fiber throughout all of Grayson County. Since construction began in December of 2020, AEP has run around 105 miles with 132 miles left to go. As of the end of October, 45% of the fiber has been constructed, which by December of 2021 should be around 50%. Now we'll go over the overall project. From this map, you can see the three main grant funding areas, phase 1, 2, and 3. These areas were selected based off of underserved and unserved areas of the county. Phase 1 is the area around Summerfield and Point Lookout, which will be totally fixed wireless. Phase 2 and phase 3 is what we call the hybrid solution, which will include a combination of fiber and fixed wireless. Phase 2 and Phase 3 cover areas around Spring Valley, Elk Creek, Flat Ridge, Troutdale, White Top, and areas in the southern parts of the county around Bailey. APCO's fiber build-out was spread throughout all of Grayson County, as you can see from this map. This gives Gigabeam the ability to connect customers all over the county and not just in grant-funded areas. Now let's talk about fiber to the home. The fiber design is separated into segments. There are over a dozen segments throughout the fiber route. In order for a segment to be connected, it requires 3 components. The first is the actual fiber. Second is the splicing of the fiber together. And the third is the optical line terminal that will enable connections in the homes and around the area of the segment. This is an example of a segment. From this map, you can see that the fiber route is in pieces. Before splicing occurs, the fiber cable is in pieces. Splicing contractors will go across the line and splice the connections together. Once splicing is done, all the fiber in the segment is connected together. An OLT, which is the optical line terminal, will be installed in each segment. Once the OLT is connected to the fiber and it is lit, this will allow the OLT to serve the residents in the fiber segment. Now, homes that are within the fiber segment will have physical fiber connection to their home. Typically, this is done by following the current electrical cabling to the home. In some cases, the fiber may be buried to the home, along with the power line. A few points about the fiber to the home. First, the homes must be within 1,000 feet of existing fiber to be connected to the fiber, around 1,000 feet. Fiber will be capable of speeds from 100 megabits per second to 1 gigabit per second. The nice thing about fiber is since nothing is faster than the speed of light, fiber can offer the fastest speeds available. Pricing for the fiber to the home through Gigabeam starts from $59 a month on up to $129 a month, depending on the connection, service, the connection and the service individual customers want.
And that's for a fiber plant.
That's the fiber plant, correct.
Yeah.
And we'll go over the fixed wireless now.
Yeah.
A few notes about fixed wireless. Fixed wireless is considered a great option for rural, rugged areas like Grayson County. It can offer speeds from 25 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second to the home. There are no cables or fixed lines needed. Connections are reliable with low latency, unlike satellite providers. And unlike satellite providers, weather has very minimal impact on internet quality. Phase 1 is an area that will be initially served totally by fixed wireless. The way this will work is by supplying a connection to the tower at Point Lookout. Aside from the connection tower at Point Lookout, microsites will be set up around the area to relay internet connection to surrounding homes. These microsites will be connected by the main feed at Point Lookout, which is fed from the fiber feed. This will offer coverage areas that will service the homes in those respective areas. One minor drawback with fixed wireless is that it relies on having line of sight. And we will discuss that more a bit later in the presentation. Here's an example of how the fixed wireless works in conjunction with the fiber segment areas, the hybrid solution. Once a segment is fully operational, microsites can be connected off the main fiber to feed other microsites. And once the microsite is connected, it can then connect to the homes around the immediate area. Back up. Several microsites will be in place around the county to provide maximum coverage in areas. Now back to my house model, but you have to forgive me, I'm not a graphic design artist, so I can copy and paste as good as anybody. So Fixed wireless will require an antenna to be installed on or around the home. So in this example, we have an antenna connected to the eave of the house, or the rim of the house. This will provide internet connection to the home. Now, in some cases, to get the line of sight, we might have to install antenna up on a tower or a pole on the house. This is to get over the tree line and capture a signal to provide internet. The antenna may also be installed on the outside post of the house to reach a better signal. The only limitation to this type of connection is that the antenna must be within 300 feet of the home, which is the maximum desired cable width. That is restricted by the Cat 5s. Cat 5 will connect from the antenna to the home. That limit is 300 feet. Pricing for fixed wireless starts at $45 and goes up to $79 per month, depending on the connections and the speed desired and available. Now we'll talk about future expansions here. And this is back to the example of the segment. Once the project is built out, there will be areas that fiber can extend out from. Building off of these areas will allow more residents to be connected to the fiber or connected to fiber to the home. I advise everyone who is eagerly waiting on the broadband project to follow our Facebook page, as well as our county website, to stay informed of news regarding the broadband project. Once the county's, on the county's website, there is a resource tab labeled Broadband Project. This webpage has the broadband dashboard tool to allow people to keep up with the progress of the project. As connections become available in areas, this tool will be updated to let people know when it is ready and when the progress of the project. There are other useful information links on this page as well, like links to Gigabeam and other resources. On Gigabeam's website, their website is www.gigabeam.net, and this is where citizens can get informed on the project as well as sign up for service. To sign up for service or to let Gigabeam know you're interested in having service, people can put their zip code in on the website. Once you put your zip code in, this will bring you to the pricing and plans page. Simply click on sign up on one of the tabs. And right now, it doesn't matter which one you click, it goes to the same place to sign up. And this will give the form that you can fill out to the request service. This also puts your information into their system, so when internet is available in their area, they can reach out to potential customers. Now, I want to go over a few frequently asked questions that I get on a regular basis. The biggest one, my house is outside the grant funding area. Will I still get connected? Yes. This broadband project extends throughout the whole county. Do I need the fastest internet available? Depends on the number of connected devices in use and the need. Occasional users may not need as much speed as those who have multiple devices connected. So in a family with children that all have to be online at one time and streaming movies and playing video games, they might want a faster connection than someone that just browses the internet and checks their email. It all depends on the size of the pipe. Now, is the connection over fixed wireless reliable? Yes. I get that question a lot. People think there's a misconception that fixed wireless is slow or not reliable. It may not be as fast as fiber, but it still offers broadband connectivity. And it is a reliable source that you can use. There's no caps, data caps, it's unlimited. The next biggest question is probably the number one question. These two questions. When will internet connection first be available? Beginning of December. This will include phases 1 and 2. When will the internet be available in my area? Now that depends on the project build out as it's ongoing. As construction continues, a more definitive estimate can be determined. And that's why it's important to keep check on the county's website for ongoing updates.
So Carl, just so we're straight back up.
Yeah.
December of what year?
December of 2021.
Thank you.
We're getting into the planning part of the event on that. In fact, I've got a meeting with Amanda, and I need to go with Mr. Shepley about that too. Next week on, how we're going to do this and the first customers connected. So we're right on the threshold of this getting live.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
For those of us out in the western end, when I look at your speed, cost, slide, we've been hoodwinked by CenturyLink for a long, long time, to the point that they would call to upgrade your service and charge you $25 more a month, when in fact, they weren't even producing or delivering a speed at the minimum costs.
Yeah.
How can we be sure that if we want a premium service, we're gonna get that speed?
That you're getting what you're paid for.
Absolutely.
I'll let Michael handle that one, and I know what his answer will be, but I'll go ahead and let Michael speak on that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a second. What was the question?
Supervisor Rebels, he was talking about in the residents up in White Top, where they have CenturyLink that has not delivered on the speed that they're paying for. They might be paying for a 10 meg speed and only have like maybe one. Correct.
25 and you get one.
Yeah. He wants to know how people will know that what they're paying for is what they're getting.
Actually, we are obligated by the grant guidelines to validate our speeds, and the system we're putting in does that automatically and creates like monthly reports that we turn into the state. So everything is documented, proving that the speeds that we say we're offering is offered. Of course, people can always run speed tests, and your router tells you that. The routers that we use, that's part of what does this speed test for us. It's all well documented.
Yeah, and they will, Michael on his website, his price plans, they pay what they see. There's no hidden fees. So what they see is what they pay.
Thank you.
Is Michael and Amanda just here for questions, or are they got a part of this?
If they want to say something, I think they're just kind of here in case there's any questions on parts of the project.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure it's clear to everyone that the goal of this whole project is for anybody in the county that wants internet connection, broadband speed connections, they're going to be eligible to get it.
Correct. That's right.
May not be fiber, maybe fixed base wireless, but everybody will be eligible to get at least 25 meg broadband defined speed at the end of this project. The funding we have available is really to do that last mile of home that Carl talked about. But if you're outside of those areas, you're still eligible. It may not be fiber, but you're still eligible. So talk a little bit, Carl or Michael, about the issue of if you're outside of those areas, it's technically a served area by definition, meaning Comcast or CenturyLink or somebody else is reporting that they're delivering those speeds. If somebody's in there, can they still get service from Gigabit?
Yeah, that's something that keeps coming up in conversation, because I have people that call me that are in Comcast covered territory that can't get Comcast.
Right.
Michael, if you want to, jump in here too, you might be able to answer better than I can. But in the funding areas where we were seeking funding, we had to stay outside of Comcast, even though Comcast, and we know from our experience that the FCC's coverage map, broadband map, was overly stated. It was just overstated. And a lot of those maps were based off census blocks. So a census block could have like maybe 5 people served with Comcast, and the rest of them, 95 people in that, census block might not have Comcast, but see Comcast says it's service. So that's how they base the maps off of. So we couldn't get grant funding, or we had to pull out of our grant funding areas out of those territories just because of that they had broadband connections available around the area. So during this, with this infrastructure, we're going to reach those people that are kind of on the outskirts of those territories that Comcast cannot serve or refuse to serve. And I know Michael, did you want to add any to that?
Yeah, of course, just like he said, we cannot go into a served area with grant funded network. That doesn't mean that my company can't build additional network in these areas on our own dime. And that's something we intend to do, especially where we see people wanting the service. There are gaps, especially on the eastern side of the county, where Comcast challenged us and we had to back off. And there are definitely unserved areas that are not currently in grant funded areas. But we intend to cover that as well. Like I say, whether we get grant dollars or not, we're going to invest in the county and get everybody served. That's one thing that we are absolutely, that's our top goal, is to get everybody hooked up that wants the service. So after we get these phases done, we'll look at that and start designing that expansion to get everybody covered.
Regardless of where you live, the point is put the data in your database so you have the information that you need for your planning.
That's correct.
Okay. I think the last thing for everyone is that the goal, the other long-term goal is to future-proof the county. So as Carl showed on one of those maps, where we've got the fiber belt that AEP's building, we want to eventually transition anybody that's on fixed-base wireless to fiber through an expansion so that everybody in the county is on fiber. And we think we can do that, but that part will take a lot longer. But that's the long-term goal.
Right. And as speeds, criteria is set for speeds, it's not going to be 25/3 forever, right? Speeds are going to increase. You're going to have to hit certain thresholds, and that's where there will be dollars and programs available to increase your capacity and continue to improve the service that you're providing to your residents.
Oh, definitely. And also fixed wireless is rapidly getting faster too. And the equipment we use is capable of being upgraded to these new technologies. The FCC just allocated more spectrum. It isn't available to us yet. We're supposed to have it sometime next year. With that, we can run wider channel widths. And I've seen some of this equipment already at trade shows that are gigabit capable, fixed wireless. So there's going to be technology solutions where we will do fiber expansion in denser areas, but still in the extremely rural areas, fixed wireless is going to be a solid solution to increase those speeds down the road as well.
Yeah, good point. Thanks.
Yeah. So this is we're putting this project is going to be evolving as time goes on. Not everybody's going to stay at 25 megs forever. So you know how that, when dial-up came out, DSL and everybody's that's the fastest, and it keeps going faster and faster. That's the way technology works. So, we don't want people being stuck on a slow connection. We want them to be have the best available speeds as time goes on. So your people that get 25 meg connections, maybe in a couple of years be up to 50 meg and so on. So we want to make sure that the technology progresses and we stay current with the technology.
So Michael and Amanda, I guess, based on the testing of the fiber that's been connected and equipment and installs and all that stuff, y'all are comfortable right now with around the first week or so of December, which is what kind of Carl threw up there, as the start connecting customers. Is that a fair takeaway?
From our perspective, yes, definitely. As Carl mentioned, I've lined up our corporate communications team to have a discussion with Carl so we can work on planning the event and get press releases ready and information out there, of course, to your residents. I
Right.
know we're still dark fiber testing as we go along. I know Michael's folks have been very heavily involved in working on doing all of the things that they need to do. I'm getting phone calls just like you are from different folks that are chomping at the bit for this event and this first connection. So we get it. We're trying to get everything together, everything lined up because we want this to be successful. So yes, the first week of December is what we've talked about. Michael, hoping you're still comfortable with that because that seems to be our game plan.
Yes, that's exactly our goal. Of course, we're anxious to get customers rolling as well. Of course, we need some revenue coming in. We spent a lot of money here lately, but everything looks great. Just some tidying up to do on our behalf. The head end, all that is just about done. Our data center, they actually just did a massive they actually merged with another data center and they finished that today. I was glad to see that done and over. So everything's coming together. See no reason at all unless just something crazy happens that we can't get a customer, a few customers hooked up first week December. So exciting times.
With what Michael was saying with that data center, other big companies use that data center like Netflix and I can't remember the other names, Michael, but they will be able to offer, like this, like someone has Netflix, the streaming will be faster over our network because they're part of our data center.
Yeah, we peer directly with content providers, all the major ones, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix. There's a whole list of them, and it's basically like having all that content on net. So it makes it run really well for our customers because latency wise, it's right there at you. So that's a big plus to that type of design.
Which, by the way, is a whole lot faster than 25.3, right?
Oh yes.
Just saying, there's some really crazy capabilities with the speeds that Michael can provide. It's going to do lots of great things for the county, economic development, tourism, just many different things. I think you're going to see this affect almost every part of the county's business.
Any other questions?
Good.
That's a good run.
Yeah, good job.
Despite the little
Thanks,
funny
Amanda and
house.
Mike.
The funny little house.
Yeah,
Michael, Amanda, thank you so much for
thank
joining
you
us.
all very much.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I also want to thank Carl. Carl was thanking everybody else, but we all know he's been dogging this for several years now. We appreciate all that you put into making this happen, Carl.
It's been my pleasure. This is exciting for Grayson County. So
This really was. Anything else? Okay. Old business, we have none listed. New business, surplus sheriff's office, duty weapon.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read a letter from Sheriff Richard Vaughn. Dear members, for your information, David Ashby is eligible to purchase his duty weapons for $1 upon his retirement. This purchase is according to paragraph A of section 59.148.3 of the Code of Virginia, which allows any law enforcement officer who retires after at least 10 years of service to purchase a service handgun issued to him at a price of $1. With that, $1 is attached for the purchase of this weapon. Please contact me if you have any questions concerning this transaction. Sincerely, Richard A. Vaughn, Sheriff.
make the motion to purchase this.
Motion to second. All in favor, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next will be board appointments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on the Board of Equalization, we actually fairly urgently need to get a representative from the Elk Creek District. And Reese Sage is not going to be able to serve from the Wilson District, so we need a representative from that area too. If we could get some recommendations from the board, that would be great. Pending for the Building Inspection Board of Appeals 4-year term, Edwin Ward's term will expire on December 31st, 2021. Linda, do we know if we don't know what his thoughts are on it yet? Does he represent a specific district?
Edmund probably knows him. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So we'll look into that and get you more information for the next board meeting. Kenneth Belton's 4-year term of preceded will expire on 12/31/21. You want me to go through all of them, or do you want to take it?
Let's go through all.
Okay. District 3 Governmental Cooperative is a 1-year term. Brenda Sutherland's term will expire on 12/31/2021. Elizabeth Jones, who's an alternate's term, will expire on 12/31/21. The Mount Rogers PDC Transportation Rural Technical Committee, which is a 2-year term. Brenda Sutherland's term will expire on 12/31/21. Amber Schuler, who is an alternate's term, will expire on 12/31/21. For the Planning Commission 4-year term, Daniel D. Boyer's term expires 12/31/21. Brian Walls the same time, Lisa Hash the same time, and William Shepley the same time. I can say that I would like to continue, if that's the board's wishes, I'd like to continue to serve on the Planning Commission.
What about the other ones? Do you know about them at all? We don't know about any of them.
I haven't
Okay.
heard back from them yet.
Okay, yeah.
For Recreation, Conservation, and Development, New River Highlands, 1-year term. Tracy Cornett's term will expire on 12/31/21, and she's expressed a interest in continuing to serve. For the Twin County E911, Paul Hoyle's term expires 12/31/21, and he has said that he would like to continue to serve. And with Grayson Regional Library Board 4-year term, Dr. Scott Wright's term ends on 12/31/21. I don't think we know at this point whether he wants to continue or not.
Don't look sure.
Okay.
I'm assuming he will, but I'll check with him.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So board equalization, we need Elk Creek and Wilson.
Right?
Edwin, you gonna check with Edwin?
I have sent letters to everyone on the wheels,
I'm not heard back.
and I've not heard back from anybody
Hey,
yet.
good sign.
Well, sometimes they're just a little slow in responding.
Okay. On Reseda, I'm stay on another board here.
Good.
Anybody else, Brenda? You're on some boards, and I guess we can vote on Reseda and Tracy Cornett.
Well, none of them though are critical, right? I mean, all of them don't expire till the end of
Right.
December. We've got a December meeting, so maybe by then we can shore them all up.
Okay.
That'll work.
So, okay with you, Mr. Chair?
That'll work. Everybody good for everybody. It's time to work on Wilson and Elk Creek too. Anything else, Mr. Shepherd?
Yes, sir.
One thing, and this may be out of knowledge, but on that Board of Appeals, I think they look for specific qualifications, right, for at least some of the positions. Is that in fact true? Do we know if his is one of those that just are not his?
We'll check into that. I can't answer that right this second, but we'll.
Yeah, so we need people that are,
Yeah,
have specific qualifications.
okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
And next is ARPA scheduled work session meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as we had our first ARPA work session a couple of weeks ago, and I think we made some really good progress, and we had decided that we needed to have a follow-up. And so we are suggesting 4 dates for you. Monday, December 6th, Tuesday, December 7th, Monday, December 13th, or Tuesday, December 14th. We're looking for the board's preference.
The 6th, we have the Food City Grand Opening.
Oh,
That's from 4 to 6. Would
I
that be-
generally get there early for those type of things, so I'm gonna be there like 1, you know.
Especially since they mentioned they try some of the food from.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. Part of the safety team.
Since everybody's got to be in Independence, would that be a good time?
On the 6th,
On the 6th, right after?
we'd have to do it later, because I think it starts at 5:30 and it goes, the reception, I think, runs till 7 or something like that. I'm good with the 7th.
We did on the 7th, virtually.
I'm good 7, 13.
All dates are good.
okay.
What time is it open?
I have 5:30, but I can just share the ribbon cuttings at 6.
Will you follow up with everyone later?
What date?
So
7 works with everybody, and you will be calling.
5:30.
Thank you.
Budget calendar.
Back again.
Mr. Chairman, on that board appointments, I may have said Board of Equals or Board of Appeals, but I think it was the Board of Equalization related. to-
Oh, okay.
That's the one I meant to say.
Okay.
It's not a correction.
Budget calendar.
Yes. We're looking for a board approval of the suggested dates for the budget. Remember, we put more dates in than we believe that we need. Figuring it's easier to have them on the calendar and cancel them, but try to get them going after everybody's scheduled other activities.
Conflict of interest.
Nothing to do.
I make a motion. Is that?
Could we forward this calendar to the incoming members of this? Sure. The calendar.
After you approve.
Yeah, that way, so that way they'll have the calendar to,
I will.
okay, all right. Trying to get you a little here.
Yeah, I make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda.
Administrative.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things, Mr. Chairman. One is that there have been a significant number of complaints about CenturyLink and the service that they're providing. And I have been working with several of the board members to compile a list of addresses of the homes that complaints are occurring. I met with the regional VP at a conference last week and expressed our major concerns about it and our dissatisfaction with their customer service. And so what we're doing is putting together a list of those. He asked that we submit to him the addresses for people that are not being served. If anyone hears this and wants to email us their address to be included on that list, we'll be glad to do that. It's a significant problem, has to be taken care of. The customer service is poor, and we're addressing it.
Put down Grayson County.
I was gonna say, take the property tax listings in White Top and Rugby and just put them on.
And Mr. Shepherd, there's people out in Fairview who are supposed to be covered with Comcast. And CenturyLink's not covering them, and neither is Comcast.
Wow. Okay.
I know that's Kenneth's neck of the woods, but there's some people that work at Crossroads that are having that problem.
We had talked a while back, though, of taking maybe a two-pronged approach of also sending an official letter to the SEC and saying, hey, you know, we're not being served. And a lot of folks down here, that's their only means of reliable communication. So even though there might be other counties that aren't necessarily saying they're having the same issues we are, it'd be great if they would sign on with us, but if they're not, let's go it alone and get something up to them, because working with these contacts is a good workaround, but it hasn't solved the problem over the last several years.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we need to highlight it up through the SEC and through our elected officials at the state level.
I agree. It's endangering people's lives.
Yeah.
We'll do that. The other thing is that we are receiving, we need to review the construction bids for Baywood Technical Center. And in order to do this, we need to have a specially called meeting of the board. And we are attempting to have that meeting, or would like to suggest December 16th as a date where this should occur. This happened while I was at a conference over the last few days. And Mr. Smith, I think, knows more of the details about why this needs to be done. If you could share that. If you have any questions about this, then.
Could we not do it on the 7th when we're doing the ARPA meeting?
No, the bids will actually be done and all that.
14.
The 14th. Supervisor Sullivan was in that same meeting today also, and she's exactly right. The 14th is when things will come in, and then we need to get them reviewed as quickly after as possible, and that 16th was suggested.
Is 2 days enough time to review them?
That's just a question I asked, and he said absolutely.
So what's critical on the, why does it gotta happen on the 16th? What's the, so what if, let's say we wait till January?
So that we can get things happening before we go into get the process occurring before we get into the holiday.
And then also that they speculate, the contractors that he works with says they're suspecting a price increase January 1, 2022. So if we can get bids already firmed up, shored up.
It'd be ideal to do it on the 16th. It's not like the world won't come to an end if we don't do it. We just
Who said that 2 days is enough time?
Yeah, it's architect.
Is there a legal review as part of that?
I think the legal has already reviewed the contracts, correct?
Yeah, and then there'll be a final review of the lowest bidder contract, which is what we always do.
Need to work too. Right.
That's what they said.
Christmas shopping done.
Well, I was just thinking about Food City moving their open house to the 16th, and we kill two birds with one stone, have a nice reception, contract award, the whole 9 yards.
We're just getting ready for budget session. We're here 2 days a week.
I'm good with the 16th, me personally.
Very good. Yeah. 16.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
And
What time were you shooting for then?
I'm not in on this.
Sorry.
It's a
5:30.
privilege.
5:30 should work.
I think that's what we got.
They will be here also.
our registered speakers, check Mr. Smith. None.
None.
Right. Supervisors, Howard,
As part of my civic service, I have been serving on the board of Johnston Memorial Hospital and Ballard Health over the last year. And I'm pleased to announce that Ballard has purchased 49.9% of Johnston Memorial Hospital. They already own 50.1% because they built the new hospital and got their 50% ownership. The money is going to be placed into a healthcare private foundation. It will be the 3rd largest private foundation for healthcare in the state of Virginia. And the announcements will be made tomorrow. The transaction is already closed. And the value of the transaction is $281 million. So it's going to be a great resource to fund many healthcare and population health improvement projects for the region, because the foundation has said in their preamble to their board and all of the regulatory minutes that they filed that their region they'll try to serve will be Grayson, Smith, Washington, and Russell counties. So Grayson should have an opportunity to get their name in the hat. I will serve on that board as well when it's established January 1st. Thank you.
Supervisor Reynolds, do you know when we could step forward and attempt to apply for money to that foundation? When will it be functioning, I guess, in accepting any sort of requests?
Mr. Shipley, I would think at least 3 to 4 months, because all of the investment policies have to be put in place and several staff members will be hired. I've actually been through one of these in North Carolina about 20 years ago, and I advised the board of the new foundation that they better hold on to their hat, because I guarantee the first year they'll have over 5,000 applications coming in. So they've got to put the process, build the processes and staff in place to do that. But I would think after the first quarter of 22.
Great, thank you.
Good news.
Yeah, hey, just one thing, and I know this issue's been floating around out there for a while, and I just want to kind of get it out there in the meeting. And it does have to do with communications. We were talking earlier about CenturyLink, but we do have an issue with first responders in the western end with communications, reliable communications for the 911 piece. And I know Paul's been working at the other members up there. A lot of them are here in attendance tonight, but just to bring a point to it, as Paul and I have been exchanging emails, there's an immediate need situation that we need to solve. And then there's the long-term situation that Paul and Mike and I think all of y'all were able to go to the briefing about the potential long-term solution and the challenges with figuring that one out. But we have a short-term or a near-term, not even near-term, we have an immediate need to get all the chips on the table to figure out how we can provide our first responders reliable communication in the western end, whether it's sheriff's department, rescue squad, fire department, doesn't matter, and what that cost is going to be. And so what I'd ask is, it could be a special call meeting, it could be in December, but we need to have a discussion about that issue. So we can see how big a wall it is we gotta climb to be able to reduce the county's liability and provide some comfort to the citizens that we have a system that they can rely on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. Thanks for your time.
That's all I was asked for. We're good. I'll look for motion to go into closed session, discuss personnel matter 2.2-371A1. Second. All in favor, aye. 5 minute break. Thank you.